Hi, you're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, and today I want to show you how to open a young coconut. Generally in the summer I like to do this outside. So this is a young Thai coconut. You can find these at a lot of grocery stores these days, but if not, check your Asian market or your, Whole Foods has them. Around here in the Seattle area, we have a store called Central Market, and basically it's just a kind of like a more quality grocer, more expensive too, but they have things that are from areas you won't find in your regular Safeway, Fred Meyer, Winco, etc. So at Whole Foods, these same type that are non-organic, they are $5 to $6 each, and they were $2.59 a piece at the Asian market, and they had two different kinds. So I want to show you how to open them. And first I'll show you the setup of tools and everything. I wanted to say hello, introduce myself if you haven't met me before. I have a witchcraft channel, and we talk about herbalism, and we talk about workings, we talk about energy, how to send it to get what you want in life, law of attraction, and what can we use these coconuts for? Well, all the outside stuff we use as a coconut in our witchcraft, and I'll show you that all this white stuff peels off, and then the shell's underneath, right? The shell can be used for a floating bath candle. Coconut is great in a bath. It's like a spiritual cleansing bath. So I'll show you what the shell of a normal American brown coconut or North American brown coconut looks like. I use them to keep my change in. But yeah, these are the ones that you'll find in like every grocery store. Sometimes year round. And they don't always crack right on the line, but this is one. And these ones are really thick, the meat, and they're really tough in comparison to these, where the meat is more thin, really sweet, and then the nectar inside is completely different taste than this brown coconut here. So maybe I'll keep this in the back so we can compare shells later. Okay, so I'll pull you closer to me and we'll get to it. Make sure that you don't have a lot of things around that would fall, because basically I stepped through my hardwood floors and I stomped and made sure that nothing was going to fall down. Okay, so the things that you want to have with you are a couple of bowls. One bowl is going to be for garbage, and one bowl is going to be for my witchcraft scraps that I keep, and then the rest is eaten right out of the shell, okay? So I have a glass straw that I found on Amazon to drink the juice out of, right from the thing. I have a little thing to dust maybe some debris away that I need to. And then these on this side are for when I actually get it open and getting the meat out. If you have a Vitamix, your Vitamix little spatula is exactly what you need to get this out. I couldn't find mine. I don't have a Vitamix, but I have one of the little spatulas. I've got a couple things to try and get it out. An oyster, or a clam cracker, an oyster shucker. I've got a thin wooden spoon, and then I've got a regular like soup spoon. So let me show you. And if you can get this meat out, you can make raw vegan Thai noodles. You can make all kinds of things with the coconut meat. But I like to really just eat it. Okay, so generally they're usually wrapped in plastic on the outside to keep them as fresh as possible, and you'll find them in the cool section of the grocery store, like a cooler. And they're over with, like, in Safeway, when you find them, they're over near like the mushrooms and the like other things that are more specialty, I guess. The more specialty section of your Safeway is where they'll be. So let me show you. They've cut the big green round coconut shell off, okay? And then they've left you with this shape to deal with. Alright? Now, I'll show you that under here, it's a ways down before you hit the shell, but you can use all of this for witchcraft, so I'm going to save that. and just kind of twist it and know where the shell is so you can cut far down on the angle on the bottom. You're not going to cut through the shell. It's not that thin. It's just thinner than that American brown coconut. Or North American brown coconut. But having the stable base is, I shouldn't have cut all that away, because having the stable base makes it so that you won't chop your hand off. I need to get into this coconut. So I shall, well, we'll leave the base on this one. This will be a better example of how to do it right. My bad. But I don't edit my videos. I just talk to you guys like we're friends in my own home, and it's real life here on the Taxidermy Witches channel. Real life. No choppy editing and all of that. So, the size of the coconut is about the same. And this one is actually rotten. No, is it rotten? Is it not? And this is going to splatter everywhere. I should get a little bit farther away from my phone. Use the back of the knife, back angle point. It's much, much harder without that base, I will say. But still doable because the shell is thin. I would have done this in my kitchen, but it was a mess. And you can just tip that angle up and kind of open it. Even if the coconut is bad, you can still use the shell in all of this, you know. And if you get a case of coconut, one of them is going to be bad. Just how it is. Alright, so let's show ya. Oh no, it was just the shadow. Here we go. Lovely. Let me taste the juice. Amazing. See how the juice is clear in the straw? That's why I like to have a glass straw so you can see the juice is clear, okay? That's good. If it had any gray tint to it, you wouldn't want to drink it or eat the coconut. You could use the shell. It's like the best breakfast you could have. And when I was doing the raw diet, I would have, look at that, isn't that gorgeous? I would have 2 of these every morning, and that was my breakfast. So, once you drink the juice out, and the meat is so soft. And that's why, if you get it out the right way, it can be like a noodle, like an udon noodle. Woo! Sticky, sticky. I'm gonna have to wipe down all this. Let me drink the juice out so we can get the meat out. Hello! There's some shells in there. I don't want to choke on them. So... all the juice is out, yeah? Look how beautiful that is. Now, having the opening bigger is good because you're going to be able to spoon out the shell easier, okay? So I want to show you how easily this just glides off. And do you see, just, it's so soft. It's just, there will be a light blonde shell base on the edge. That's fine, it's soft too. It's really soft. It's really lovely texture. Save these chunks for a smaller working, you know. But let me show you just how thin the shell is. Once you take all of the husk off of the outside, never cut toward yourself. You always want to cut away. So that shell is pretty thin. You know, it's a little thinner than the normal brown coconut like this, but it's a lot easier to get through because it's been sitting in water, whereas those brown coconuts has a thicker layer of actual coconut, and so and it's tougher. It's thicker and tougher, the coconut. So the shell, this one, because it gets moist, the shell is easier to get through. Okay. So if you wanted to cut these into noodles, you know, you'd simply get a big enough piece, bigger piece than this probably, and then you just julienne that into longer noodles, hopefully, if you wanted to do udon. I have an amazing recipe for raw coconut noodle udon. So see, noodles. Yummy. Okay, so let's cut one more open. Well, okay, let me maybe show you a trick. Just start at the top and try and go as close to the edge as possible. Just imagine yourself going around that inner edge. And we'll try. If you do it like this, start like this and go all the way around, you can get a long enough piece for a noodle. Oh, it slipped off. Okay. Look at this. This is magnificent. See how long that came out? I can cut noodles out of that. Let me show you how. So good. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. So, look at this. And it's round, so just follow the edge. You'll have one wonky noodle, and then the rest will be perfectly straight. These taste really good, and they absorb whatever sauce you put on them if you soak them in. So for Japanese food, a little hondashi broth and soy sauce. If you want to do raw, then it would be just namashoyu, which is a raw soy sauce. You could do, well, always green onion, raw green onion, so good in that. Raw white onion, when it soaks in the broth, the onion gets soft. What else do I put in that one? Here's more of a perfect noodle. And that's not at all hard to do. See the thickness? It's about the thickness of an udon noodle, except udon noodles are round. You can do them thinner if you want. But if it's a real thin coconut, you don't want to do it too thin because then the noodle might not stay as long. And if I have requests on doing my raw udon, that is my personal recipe, I made it up on my own. I've never heard of anyone doing raw coconut udon noodles, but I'm sure it's been done. I'm just saying I haven't. It wasn't something I kind of adjusted myself. I feel I created it all on my own. But like I say, I'm sure someone else has done it, so. And then, you know, on your edge noodles, they're not going to be exactly perfect on some areas. You know, that might fall apart there, that's okay. But let me just show you kind of what we've got in my hand. Got a pile of noodles. And if you know, on that edge, if you want to take it off, you can. And I can show you how to take that edge off so that they're just white noodles. But they're so, so good. I'm just going to save those on the side because I'll be making noodle udon today. Yummy. Alright, let's take more out of here. What time are we at? 17:40. Alright. Let's see if I can get you to see. The thing is when you try and get so close to the edge of the shell to get as much meat as possible, you're going to be taking some of that shell with you. So I guess, you know, you're just going to want to make sure you trim it. One time, when I first started doing this, I really wanted to see if I could get the whole thing to come out in one. And I used to be able to do it with that little spatula I was telling you about. So here's what's left, and you just kind of scrape that out and eat the scraps out. And then you're left with this shell, right? And you can do workings in the shell. I've done loads of workings in the shell and bury them for like prosperity, income, anything, love, anything. And then if you wanted to make it into a floating candle, you just continue to cut off all the rest of that shell, etc., etc. Okay, so let's see. How do you get the shell off the backside? That's simple. Just get a little bit of a smaller knife. I just have this big knife to show you. But just go around and really thinly trim that away, because you just want to take the shell and not any of the coconut or noodle. And I eat that because I would have eaten it anyway. I'm just getting rid of it for pretty. You know, take off the shell and take off the shell. And actually the texture on this coconut, if you do get it all out in one shot, the texture looks just like a brain. So that's why I think it's brain food, because a lot of the time in nature, like lungwort looks exactly like lungs, and it's great for breathing. Okay, a lot of things in nature look like the organ they're meant to help fix. So that is the goddess telling us exactly what it's for. so that we know and we do it right. Okay, so let me show you a little bit again on how to cut some noodles out of a round piece. This side's kind of broken and this side's still connected, so I'm going to go ahead and break that. And then I'm not exactly sure yet. I'm going to cut the edge on the outside here so that it'll be round. Again, a smaller knife is much easier for things like this. Okay. So, okay, so making these noodles. Just curl it around. Can you see? Oh, I forgot. We could have kept it in a circle and just done this, making it into one big spiral, and then it's one giant noodle. But we didn't keep it in one. So they still look like noodles when all is said and done. And it's so sad I can't play music in my videos anymore. I had some of my videos taken down because I played music and I said who was playing and blah blah blah. So, quiet videos it is, that's okay. I'm not sad about it, I just am sad that my content is gone. And I don't have a backup. So you'll get your own technique down and all of that, and it'll start to come real easy. If you have a Lazy Susan, a spinning thing, those are great for this. Okay, so now I'm going to crack open that other coconut the way that it's meant to be done, so that you can kind of see how that goes. Alright, plastic off. Ooh, this one's nice. It has a little absorbing shell, this thing. You can save those for packing material. You can save it to keep on your fruit rack so that your fruit doesn't bruise. You know, it will bruise on the rack if it's heavy enough fruit. If you do this on your floor, make sure you mop your floor after. You don't want bugs around. So they cut it for you like this so the base is flat, so that it's safe to cut on, you know, your board. Okay, so let's respect that. And let me tell you, I do shave away the top, I believe, so that I can be closer to the shell while I'm cutting. You're doing this so that when you get your cut, you can whack right into the shell itself rather than trying to get all the way through all this, which, as you can see, is pretty thick. This way we're just going to whack right into the shell. Okay, so that's why I do this top removal, if you're wondering. And the more shell they keep on, the better preserved the coconut is. So I like that they keep that on. This is my method. But if you're doing it fast and you got loads of them to do, then this might not, it might be too time consuming. Okay. ADHD. Okay, ready? This is pretty nice and soft. And it's going to start leaking as soon as you get into it, so get your straw in there. Check it. Came out clear again, guys. Clear, right? Tastes like rice milk, kind of. No, it doesn't. Rice Chex is what I meant to say. When I was a kid, we used to eat rice Chex with 2% milk. That's what it tastes like to me. And again, it looks shadowy, but when you pull it in the glass straw, you can see it's clear. This is a complete meal, just the 2 juices of this that I've drinking. The meat is so good for you, really good fats. Let me show you one spiral noodle from the top of that before the video is done, okay? Look at that, beautiful. You could make a drink out of this, keep the lid. Little umbrella, cha-cha-cha. But let's do a spiral, spiral noodle. So, take your spoon, and I would just go around all the edges first before prying into the middle. Just really keeping that spoon go slow and go really firm on the edge. Trying to scoop up all of it. Just prying around that edge. So that's what I've got. On the opposite side, just take your knife and cut that away if you want, if that's your preference. Sometimes you can get it to peel, but I don't mind if it has the shell on it, like I say. But if I have guests, I do take the shell off because it looks a lot prettier. It takes a lot of time, but think, you're putting magic into that. You're putting love into the food. You care about it. You want the presentation to be beautiful. And beautiful food is impressed and happy friends. And that's nice. To do the extra effort and go all out for your friends. So, we'll do a spiral noodle. Starting from the outside. If you feel it get to a thin area, make it a little thicker in that spot. Go slow. Once you cut it all the way, that's it. There we are. One spiral noodle. And look how much it is. It's like a lot of noodle there, okay? So that one I would cut in half. If you know, unless you wanted to impress somebody. But 2 of these udon noodles should be about that long at the longest. So let's just see all that we cut in this video. Not enough for 1 serving, but that's about half of a serving, I'd say. Add this to it, and so 1 coconut is about 1 serving. Add this to it, and you've got a pile good enough for some soup. So I hope that you enjoyed watching me make these raw. coconut udon noodles and learning how to do the coconut. I mean, the taste is just beyond amazing. I'm going to tip the camera up and say goodbye. Thank you for joining me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, while we did all of these lovely things. I'm going to eat a noodle and say goodbye. Au revoir.